I'm not gonna go work for little to no money and not make a living wage. I'm sorry, that's just not gonna happen. Whether you want to believe it or not, I can't tell you the rules of the program. You guys don't understand how strict that program was. And it was so frustrating and upsetting because they're like, well, we had to talk. And to be honest, he really did not want people working.
How's it going today, everybody? Tophiachu has been losing her mind the last couple of weeks. She's been going live about every single day and crashing out worse and worse. And the only logical conclusion we can come up with is that the Tenchu arc is right around the corner, and as she spirals to the bottom, she's not only taking herself down with her, she's trying to drag everyone who had the audacity to try to be her friend right along with it. Studchu's getting called out. Tophiachu has had enough, and she's decided that she's going to let everyone know why Studchu got arrested. Toph is tired of Studchu slandering her good name, letting everybody know that she's refusing to go see Mamachu, and that she took her on the car ride to get embarrassed by Crushchu. I mean, she just can't stand for these atrocities. So in the process of losing a friend and losing about everything else she has to her name, she also decides that she's going to partake in a other adventure, potentially. She's starting to think about it more and more, and yes, that's Tophiachu considering doing a OF. What would possess her to do such a thing? Well, you know, she has no money, and she thinks because she was able to get almost 2 girlfriends, and she's had non-stop catfishes since she can even remember, that she could pull it off. Not that someone's gonna buy it and then leak it, and then it's just an entire mess that she crashes out about for years on end. But guys, I'm not gonna hold you guys too long in the intro. Let's go ahead and get into this.
But it's dry. No, I like Smirnoff. I don't drink any of the other stuff, just like maybe Smirnoff. That's the only thing I like to drink. Like, I don't know, I'm just a little depleted, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just do not feel good. And I'm upset because it's frustrating. I tend to try not to compare myself to others, but it's so difficult. I saw this thing on Facebook about content creators that make money, right? Lots of money. And it was the girls that do the whatever. Of course, obviously, OF women are gonna make a lot of money. I wouldn't 7K, like I tell you guys, like I went into that industry, I'd be making bank. I'm telling you. But I don't want to do that. I don't do stuff like that. Yes, that kind of tape. Yes. Someone did email me, and I have gotten offers in the past to do like stuff, but I don't want to go on there. Podcasts never really help you. But yeah, I'm saying 7. That's how I say 7. But yeah, I just don't want to do that type of stuff. You know what I mean? There's one girl that's pleading with the internet to take down over 400 videos of her that she posted, the content stuff that she now doesn't want her kids to see. Like, that's to really think about your future. If I have kids in the future, I wouldn't want my kids to see that. You know, kind of normalized, because a lot of young influencers, they turn 18, and once they turn 18, straight away, they already have a OF account made, and they're already posting OF content. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, already have a OF account, and they're already making content.
The Tenchu arc speculation is ramping up. Every time I hear Tophiachu getting on livestream, she's complaining more and more. The delusions are spiraling out of control. She's Papachu maxing to the extreme at the moment, and I don't think she's going to recover anytime soon because she won't allow herself to. We already know she got kicked out of the religious shelter, and she's probably in a third one and on the rocks with it already. She's doing the same exact thing that got her kicked out of every single one of them, and now instead of wanting to improve her life, she's wanting to add some more trouble to it by wanting to drink. Like, Toph, the one thing you could do that would ruin everything for you, set you on the course for Papachu faster than anything, is having a World of T-Shirts arc. Nothing would do it faster than that. I mean, there's a couple other things, but I think this is the extent Tophiachu would go to. Like, Tophiachu's never been addicted to substances. She didn't smoke for the longest time until she started vaping for some reason, and she rarely drank. It seemed like she only did when her friends would take her out because she didn't have much money. But Tophiachu just wouldn't be able to handle that lifestyle. She's overbearing in general. She gets too close to people, and she started getting bar friends that she went out with every now and then. You know, she would over assume things. She would get herself into trouble. It would be really bad for her. And that's not even mentioning the mental side effects from all of this. The fact she would be spending even more money. It's just not a possibility unless she wants to live under a bridge for the rest of her life in Papachu Max. Then she could do that, I guess, but I don't think it's a very good idea. But Toph is full of bad ideas, like her OF content. It's like, how can you be so down and out and start thinking about the OF content now? People have told you time and time again, they don't want that. No, that might shut down the internet for a month. It just might take the whole thing down with it. And in all reality, all jokes aside, Toph, it would get leaked. Like, one person, one unfortunate soul would find it, leak it, and then there would be a bunch of memes about it. It would be the exact Nova Online South Park thing. So only a couple of people, well, I bet there's a lot of people who probably wouldn't admit it, but, went to watch the Nova South Park video. But everybody knows the memes. Everybody knows what they're talking about. That's the same exact thing that would happen to you, but far worse.
I love that song with Kanye West. But yeah, you're really too trusting of random people online. If I was too trusting of random people online, don't you think I would have met with someone already? Why do you think I haven't met with anyone online when they say, oh, I'll fly you here or there, or anything like that? Did I say I was trusting? Hello? Use your brain. Like, your common sense. Like, I wouldn't. And besides, like, what does it baffle you? Like, you're so shocked at the fact that I can make a lot of money, that people have offered to pay me a lot of money. Like, not far-fetched. You have to think like a man. Men do not care what you look like. They will literally pay for anything. How am I gonna make money when I don't have a place to live? I can't post. You have to understand, the places that I'm at, I can't post because there's people. And I can't have people in my video. The places that I'm at told me that I'm not allowed to make videos or post anything. I had to leave to post. It is too hot to go anywhere. And even when I do go somewhere, no one really understands, because y'all literally are hypocrites. You give your money to horrible human beings and then you talk about how someone is horrible. You're not really for canceling people if you're not really calling out everyone. Like, Jeff Bezos is not a good person. Elon Musk is a trillionaire. I didn't gamble with my money. When I went to the casino, someone offered money to go gambling. I never went gambling with my money. I didn't have money to gamble. Like, why do you lie? Obviously, I don't go gamble with my own money. And actually, that money has helped keep my storage paid. So, nobody said I didn't gamble, but I didn't gamble with my money. Why do you assume it's my money? This is the thing that people really don't understand, and I'm going to explain it to you. People will pay for things for you because you are nice. If you're an a-hole, you don't get things. Because in real life, you don't know me. I'm a nice, kind person, and people give me gifts. People offer to buy things. People offer to take me places. And it's not a bragging type of thing. It's because I'm a nice, kind person.
I'm not exactly sure what Kanye West songs Tophiachu is talking about. But it's gotta be I Am a God or You Can't Tell Me Nothing. You can't convince me those aren't Toph's theme songs while she's walking down the big bad streets of Albuquerque being bigger and badder, or at least that's how she wants to come across. She wants you to know that she has so much more than you, that she's so much better than everybody who watches her, as we've continually watched her life crumble by nothing more than her own actions. But she's better than us for sure. Do you guys know she's got a mythical storage unit? Out of all the problems in her life, she has still maintained a storage unit. Yeah. Can you top that? Well, probably, but damn it, she's held on to it. Out of everything else that's fell through her fingertips, the storage unit has remained. and Toph wants you to know, she's balling. Got at least $600 every month. The only thing that's stopping her is herself, and even she knows that. She could have every man she wants, or any girl she wants. She's got, I don't know, she's got $3,000 in the bank. And as the Leaping Lemur has said, that secures you a girlfriend no matter what. Toph, she's really pulling some women. So that now means all of the guys on social media who are hitting her up in the DMs, they're real too. She doesn't have 3K, but she's got charisma. And she's funny. And when she's not on camera, she swears on everything. She's a good person. So how can these dudes not be real? I mean, they're not Andrew Ditch. They don't fake. But, reality's got to set it eventually. It's just like, Toph, do you really believe that these dudes that have been hitting you up for years, that have been non-stop catfishes, are actually legit this time? Like, what is the logic here? She gets one girlfriend, well, not even a girlfriend. Like, she had a crush on one girl, it seemed to be going okay, then Tophiachu fumbled it in the grandest fashion and started accusing her of some stuff when things went completely off rails. And then there's Studchu, who Tophiachu denies up, down, left, and right. But then she'll tell a story like just a little bit later, like, yeah, I had a crush on somebody and that person was jealous that they actually liked me and not them. It's like, well, we know you're talking about Studchu. Like, she talks to her chat just like she does Mamachu, but unlike Mamachu, you're not convincing all of us. We can see right through you. The Swiss cheese logic will not stand for us, but even Toph herself is starting to convince her, like, yeah, maybe. Actually, now that I think about it, I do have it going on. I probably can get a man. These people are real, so it's just not happening. She spends so much time trying to convince herself that everything's okay, and that if she just keeps being in denial enough, that things will go back on track sometime soon. Everybody else can see it from the way she should, like, this is going bad now, you gotta fix things right away. But she's like, no, I can't do it. I gotta live my life of luxury. I'm gonna go out and spend my friend's money gambling. And like, yeah, maybe your friend gave you like $100 to get started. Like, Toph, if you're gonna come out here with me, if you're gonna bug me throughout my trip, here's a couple $100, or maybe just 100, maybe just 50. I don't know what kind of gambling joint they were at. And Toph spent it. She seems like she likes gambling a whole lot. Do you guys not think she didn't spend more money gambling? This is Toph, a person who has an obsessive personality. She rarely finds things that she enjoys. She likes bright lights, loud noises, flashing stuff. It reminds me of a little bit of Disney Channel, so I know Toph would enjoy it. And then, above all else, you get money, if you win, and you lose it if you don't, but that's okay. Tophiachu is used to squandering money. This is literally up Tophiachu's alley. If she ever found like a little gambling joint, like a coffee shop somewhere, I don't know if they legally can do that in New Mexico, but she would never leave. She would be like those old people who go in on the daily, well, not even the daily, like at the beginning of the month, spend their entire paycheck, and if they're lucky, they can win enough to where they can gamble for the next couple of days. Like, Tophiachu would do that to the maximum, and she'd probably get Mamachu into it as well.
My brother was sleeping in the car. He was going to work. He literally worked at Jimmy John's. Why are you lying, considering the fact that we were with him 24/7? After he would drop us off at the library, then we got sick. I got sick, and then my mom got sick. We couldn't go to the library. So after that, we just stopped going to the library, and we started door dashing all day. So we were in the car the whole time until we slept. We didn't even, we got out and we did things, right? But for the most part, we lived in the car. It's crazy because you said that, but my brother didn't attend a high school prom. Actually, my brother would go with his friends to the library, which is the club. Why would I lie about that? No, I wouldn't lie about that. Why would I go to work when I don't have a place to shower? He could go shower. I didn't have a place. I couldn't work while living out of a car. And I was doing social media because if it wasn't a job, then how do you explain me buying a $200 car part? Where did the money come from? You guys love to lie on people, but you need to really just live to annoy people. If this is not a job, then I want you to pay my taxes in. I am self-employed. I have to pay taxes. I cannot go work. The last place I was at, I could not get a job. They do not want people working. I don't know how many times I have to tell you that. The way the place was set up, the way the place was run, you cannot get a job. They already said they did not want people working, but people are working because they said they have to talk to the guy and then he has to approve you working. He would have not approved me to work. I already know that, and I'm not going to go work for little to no money and not make a living wage. I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen, whether you want to believe it or not. I can't tell you the rules of the program because I was not trying to dox myself. You guys don't understand how strict that program was, and it was so frustrating and upsetting because they're like, well, we had to talk. And to be honest, he really did not want people working. But if I had to work after hours, then how am I supposed to get back home if I don't have no transportation because buses stop running? And also because buses stop running and I don't have a car to get back, I'm not going to be walking at nighttime just to get somewhere. Please. But sometimes if your job requires you to work a certain hour and you have to stay late, then you got to stay late. That's just not how things work. The last place I was at did not allow you to work, and literally had to talk to the guy and literally had, because they don't, and there's reasonings behind it. You can't be of the world, basically. They were a super religious, super strict place that you can't be of the world, and going to get a job is being a part of the world. If you pray to God, then all your answers will be solved. And to be honest with you, I qualify for those housing programs. It's not being handed to me if I qualify for that. The city is getting way too much fucking money to not be helping people. And why are people still homeless in the streets? They got millions of dollars to help homeless people and they're still homeless in the streets. They are giving the city money to help the homeless. If they are not helping the homeless with that money, then they are committing a fraud. When you give somebody money for something, they're supposed to use it for that. So why are they not using it to help the homeless people? I shouldn't have to be fighting for a year because people keep making bullshit excuses, saying, oh, your social media this and that. What does my social media have anything to do with me getting housing? You're on social media every day. You use social media every day. You shouldn't have a job because of social media. Mind you, it's an excuse to not want to help me and my mom. And someone is actually caring enough to see that. She tells me all the time.
Every time she mentions Brother Chu, it gets a little bit more despicable. So you're telling me, Toph, that Brother Chu can sit there and work his life away at a Dunkin' Donuts living in a car, can somehow still manage to shower enough to be cleanly when he goes there so he doesn't get fired like you did, but he lives in the same exact situation as you, like the exact same one. Then, when he gets home, he has to come back, take care of you and Mama Chu, make sure you two are fed, and then DoorDash the night away. This sounds like a father. He was your brother. He didn't have to do any of this. And just the way you talk about him, you can tell how much you take this for granted, or at least you took this for granted at the time, because you literally ruined his life as well as yours, and all he was trying to do was take care of you guys for some reason. If it wasn't for you, him and Mama Chu would be living with Uncle Chu at the moment, or he'd have his own apartment with Mama Chu. Like either or, but you were the one who held him down. Like there's a reason you hold on so tightly to that $200 car part. You know as well as we do, you contributed absolutely nothing to the family when you guys were together in the Chu Cruiser. You got a $200 car part and you probably fought them tooth and nail until you finally did it. And if you admit Brother Chu did everything for you and you was only able to get one car part, well then that destroys your facade of being like the leader, and that if you don't have TikTok, you don't have anything, and that you're here to provide. Well, guess what your TikTok brought you? Homelessness, and then you lost that homeless shelter, and then you got into another one, and then you lost it, and then you're maybe in another one right now, potentially in a tent chew. I think you'd be way angrier if you was in a tent at the moment, but it's neither here or there, I guess. We're talking about you raging about jobs. You know, the things you say you'll never work. You will never work for somebody else. And it gets far more ridiculous as the video goes on. But right now, she's like, hey, listen, guys, I know you guys hate that I say this, but I have a reason, all right? The guy who owned the shelter, he wouldn't let us have one. Now, everyone else could get one. They just had to ask. The dude was just monitoring what job they would be getting. I think he was just trying to be helpful. Like, hey, you know, we need to work things out with you so you can come back to the shelter on time. Like, the way things seem, when she talks about these people who work at the shelter, it always sounds like good intentions at first. And then Tophiachu takes it as a slight because she takes everything as a slight. Then she starts being rude to these people. And then they don't care for her anymore. She wears out her welcome to the extent they throw her ass out. And then she blames them. Like, you can't tell me that you couldn't have went and asked that dude to get a job. I mean, she tells on herself, like, right away when she's like, well, I wouldn't get a job anyways, but he wouldn't let me have one. Just me specifically. Why you specifically, Toph? Why are you the one who can't do anything? People were yelling at you in that shelter because you wouldn't clean. Like, this doesn't make any sense. They wanted you to do something, but you refused because of laziness.
I went to school. What do you mean they went to school? I went to school too, and I went and took some college. I went to the University of New Mexico. What does that got to do with me? There's millionaires that dropped out of high school. Look up how many millionaires dropped out of high school. There's 112 millionaires. What does school have to do with anything? You don't need schooling to become successful, and if you think that's what you need, then go ahead and do that, because the government tells you that. Well, I have a job. Now what are you going to do? And it's not social media. So now what do you gotta say? No, I don't. Well, I do. So now what are you gonna say? Oh, so now I don't have a job? Oh, but I thought you wanted me to get a job, right? I thought that's what you wanted me to go do, is work at McDonald's or some fast food joint or some retail joint, right? Oh, now all of a sudden I have a job. I just didn't tell anyone because then I would have got fired. I have a job. I work. Now what? You see, this is what I talk about. And no, I don't have a job. I really don't. But it proves my point that you're still going to harass me whether I had a job or not. You see, now you're arguing with me whether or not I really have a job. And you know why I don't have a job? Because you haven't found where I work. Because if I had a job, people would literally go to my job. If I had a job, someone would have already seen me working. See, that proves my point. You just literally proved the reason why I don't have a job. I've been getting free lingerie, so I requested free samples for lingerie. There's this cute pink one, so I'm gonna tell you the real truth why I requested that one. I was gonna take pictures, but I'm not gonna post it online. Obviously not, because I'm not comfortable with that. But I have these cute heels, these pink ones that I bought for $1, and it goes with the whole thing. So, well, for myself, of course. I don't know. I don't really want stuff like that in my phone, because someone could hack my iCloud and then gets out there. But no, I'm just saying, I'm not gonna lie, I'm being truthfully honest. But I did get it so I could wear it to bed, but when I have a place, I'll be able to sleep in that. Where I'm at, it's not a bunch of people. Second of all, no one's going to look under my blanket and see what I'm wearing. You know what I'm saying? No one's gonna be looking under my blanket and be like, what is she wearing? I don't walk around in lingerie. I only put it on when I'm going to bed and I climb into bed. It wasn't the type of shelter where there was people and I have to walk past them with my lingerie on. I would put it on and climb into bed. I don't wear it like that. I just wear it to sleep. To be honest with you, I am hot all the time. So I need something very comfortable to sleep in, or I can't sleep at all. You know what I mean? If I did have someone, maybe, I don't know. I don't have anybody. I don't want people to assume that. Because I was going to say, I'm not even going to say anything, because then people will be like, you got someone. Who is it? No, I don't got nobody. I was supposed to. I'll do that tomorrow. Not really. The one that I got is literally a slip dress. And that one you can sleep in. It's just like a red slip dress. You just tie it on, go to bed. It's so comfortable, and it comes with like satin robe. I will literally buy satin pajamas.
You gotta love when Tophiachu thinks she's spitting facts, and for somebody who is so obsessed over other people's money and millionaires and billionaires and how she could spend every single dollar they've earned, well, you'd think she'd know there's more than 132. In fact, that there was only 132 millionaires, I mean, that would be very rare. There's gotta be more than that. I don't know the exact number, but there's gotta be far more. Maybe there's only 132 billionaires? That would sound more likely. But that's not going to stop Toph. It doesn't matter if she doesn't have the right information on hand. She's still going to complain about it. And if you think she's just going to sit there and complain about nonsense and facts she doesn't even know properly, well, no, that's exactly what she's going to do, because she's going to start Deluluchu maxing. She starts talking about the most crazy nonsense I have heard her spout in the longest time. And earlier, I forgot to speak on it, but she mentioned that men don't have like preference when it comes to looks. It's like, well, excuse me? I'm pretty sure they do. I'm going to tell you, Tophia, that looks are a factor. And like every other guy in chat in the comment section is going to tell you looks are a factor no matter what. Like, we have eyes for a reason and we use them. And speaking of unfortunate souls with eyeballs, the people who were in the shelter with you when you were walking around in lingerie, Tophiachu, we didn't need to know about that, but now that you told us, what were you doing in there? That's disgusting. You're around women and children prancing around in lingerie for who knows what reason. I mean, I'm gonna tell you my speculation in just a second, but think about that, guys. You're in there, you're struggling, you're working every day, you're trying to get out of the situation you're in. She's lounging around in the morning time in it, like watching Disney Channel, listening to music as loud as she possibly can, like the literal epitome of a nuisance. By all means. And then she's making it so much worse. And then how is she going to tell us that no, guys, I swear I only did it at nighttime and I would never walk around like that in front of other people. You walked around in your pajamas, which basically just consisted of your underwear. The green screen failed and everybody saw it, like that's what you were up to. But now, since you're a little embarrassed because you told people about this for some reason on the internet, you have to explain yourself away. And what my speculation was, what I'm going to tell you now is, it seems like this behavior of Toph's kinda started up around the time she met Studchu, and we believe Studchu is either a security guard there or, you know, she was in it as well in the same homeless shelter. So Studchu starts giving you chocolates in the middle of the night. You start running off to her room for almost an hour every live stream there for a minute, and then you're wearing lingerie in the middle of the night, right? Can you guys see the dots? Can you guys connect them as well? We don't need an Alan Wake 2 thought room. All we need is like Tophiachu to tell us, like, oh yeah, like, we know exactly what she's doing.
No, I don't have a relationship with anyone, guys. I'm very much single. I don't got anybody. No, I'm very much single. Like, me, well, I don't know. I just need to work on getting a place, that's all. I'm not flirting with anyone. I don't have anybody. I keep telling y'all this. Look, I know Miguel wants to be with me, but I don't want to be with Miguel. You guys, I don't want to be with anybody. I'm not even going to say it because I can't say it. I don't have someone, but, well, I don't have anybody. But when I say I don't want to say it, then people are going to assume, oh, you have somebody because you're not saying it. But that's not what I don't want to say. Well, it's not I don't want to say it. I can't talk about it because I was advised to not say anything. And I don't have anybody, but I can't. So, who's Miguel? He is not Miguel, the singer. We've been talking for a while, and we're friends, but he messaged my mom first, and he told my mom he was interested in me, and my mom said, well, go talk to her, call her, or no, she said, go, well, you need to talk to her about this and tell her. So he did, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not really interested. We can talk, but like, for me, I don't really want to date, and I know that he's persistent. He said, and he's on here sometimes, but he has said before, oh, I want to respect you, and then he goes back to the, oh, I want to be with you, and I'm just like, no, like, Anyways, I'm not even gonna bring that up, but there's some things. What is funny is you saying that Tophiachu never loved me. I'm not calling her Tophiachu, but I never loved her, so I don't know why you're talking about her. We were friends. I do not like her like that. I don't know how many times I have to tell you that. You guys gotta stop pushing relationships onto people. I'm not even talking about anything. And no, I didn't call the police on her. I don't know why people are saying that I called the police. I didn't call the police on her. She's like my dad. She stopped taking her medication. She had a run-in with the police and she got arrested. I have nothing to do with that. People really don't understand. I was really good friends with her. She stopped taking her medication and started having mental health issues. That really affected me on top of this other issue I was going on. You guys really don't understand. I care a lot about the people in my life that have been there, especially when something like that happens. Self-defense. That's all I'm going to say. That is it. I don't know why people brought her record online. That's the reason why I got in trouble where I was at, is because people mentioned her police record. I got blamed, and that really affected me. My friend was struggling, and I did not like the fact that she had told people that I refused to go see my mom because she offered. That was not the case. To be honest, she couldn't go outside of Albuquerque because of her case. She had asked me if I wanted to go see my mom, and I had told her, well, and then she said, well, I can't. And then she told me why she couldn't. She realized that she couldn't take me. So then I was like, well, I did say, I want to go see my mom. So then that's when she literally basically was like, then she realized she couldn't, and then she told me she couldn't take me. That was the whole situation. I don't know what she has said online, but people tried to twist it and say because they took that message of her saying that she was going to take me, that she didn't want to go see her mom because she had a ride. That's not the case. I don't know why I need to explain any of this to anyone. That should be common sense. But that's literally what happened. I got offered a ride. She said she was going to take me, and then she said she couldn't because of her case. You can't leave anywhere unless it pertains to where you're at, because if you're on an ankle monitor, use your common sense. I was not going to tell people she was on house arrest, but she was. If you are on house arrest, you literally cannot go anywhere. You have to notify your PO if you're going somewhere. I didn't want to bring this to social media. I was not going to say that, but since people want me to flat out say it, because use your brain.
Can we get the world's tiniest violin for Miguel? Poor Miguel will never fill the shoes that Nova Online wants to. He'll never be Tophiachu's man, and you know what? I just don't think Tophiachu will ever find a suitor, especially when she's turning down such a valid option as poor Miguel, the guy who certainly wasn't a catfish, the guy who's super persistent with you, you know? Sure, Tophiachu. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship you get in with Big Toph, she's going to tell the entire internet about it, bragging. Nobody had to know about this Miguel guy and his potential catfishing stuff, but you know, she drops the bomb because she wants people to know that, hey, people do like me. I've been saying live stream after live stream that I could get any guy I want, and this Miguel guy, he's a prime example. And she doesn't even stop with this Miguel dude. She then starts telling us information about Tophiachu with no prompt whatsoever. She did not have to do this, but I think she was a little bit mad at Tophiachu for telling the internet that she wouldn't go see Mamachu, which we already knew. Like, we knew Tophiachu was taking her around places, but when it comes to go see her mom, nah, that's just not going to happen. She likes to flaunt her mom's status on the internet, you know, how bad of health she's in, so that people feel sympathy for her, and that Tophiachu might get like a donation off of it. And when that's not a factor, she doesn't care about her, all the way up until the food stamp card comes back in. Then maybe she'll go visit, but you know, maybe not even then. Like, Tophiachu just doesn't care about other people. She only cares about her own well-being. As soon as Tophiachu isn't driving her places, might not date her, well then she's throwing her to the wolves. Like, hey, trolls, yeah, you know, you want to hear all of her information? Do you want to hear why she went to jail? Why she's in trouble? Like, yeah, you know, I'm not supposed to be saying this, and she might get mad, but you know, I gotta tell it.
You can work hard and be a good model employee, and they still won't put you in that position. Miss me with that one. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to be going above and beyond for a company that won't even put me in that position. I go above and beyond for nothing. You go above and beyond for nothing. I'm not going to go above and beyond for nothing. Oh, work your way up. And then you're working your way and they're like, oh, well, we don't think you're qualified for the job. Making some stupid ass excuses. I don't need your stupid ass excuses. My brother literally didn't have to work his way up to manager. Did you know that? He had never been a manager ever. And he got a manager's position. He was doing the manager's work at Jimmy John's. He never even worked as a manager. Being an adult is doing what you want to do and not having someone choose for you. You're not my parent, so you don't get to sit here and tell me what I need to do. That is weird behavior. Oh, that's called being an adult. If I choose what I want to do, which is social media, then why does that bother you so much? And maybe I'm not making enough money, but who gives a fuck? Why is that your concern whether I'm making enough money or not? It is none of your business how much money I'm making from social media. Doesn't matter how much money I'm making from social media. I'm not getting a job. So maybe worry about yourself instead of worrying about me. I have a job already. If I don't want to work a 9-to-5 job, then so be it. No, you don't get help when you have a job. Actually, you lose a lot of benefits. People that get disability, they can only make up to a certain amount. My dad got disability, so he couldn't make up to a certain amount. Ain't nobody walking around in 97-degree heat, going by bus to go to work to just get sick. I get very sick in the heat. There's no way I'm taking a bus to my job and say, hey, you could just save on gas because transportation is free. No, because I would have to take a car in the AC and not pass out trying to get to work. Ain't no way that I'm risking my life to go work for a job that isn't paying me a living wage. While the CEO kicks his feet up on a desk and makes more money than me. And who cares if they're making more money than me? I hate when people make this argument when I bring up a problematic content creator or an influencer. They're like, well, at least they're making money. They're making more money than you. I could give two fucks who makes more money than me. I could give two shits what you think. I don't care. It's not that deep. Get over it. It's not that serious for you to be sitting here saying get a job. Get a life. I'm not gonna block you because you say get a job. I'm gonna let your stupid ass keep commenting that, because that shows you got no life. You got nothing better to do than to tell someone to get a job. Get up and get a fucking another job if it bothers you much, because you ain't working enough. If you was working enough, you wouldn't be worried about me. I am hot shit. When people look to sit and say, oh, you a flop, you're a flop, been on. Until you have a video that hits 50 million views, you can't say shit to me. And mind you, I was surprised that video hit 53 million views. And I'm not bragging, by no means necessary. When I post a video, I don't care about views. But for you to sit here and say I ain't something, I am something.
I don't even know where to start with that. That might be one of the most entitled rants I've ever heard her go on. But I think we'll start at the beginning of the segment when she contradicts herself. She's saying, hey, look, you can't ever work your way up from a job. Even though every job that I've worked at, every manager who worked there seemed to be working at the job for a little bit and wanted the position. But it doesn't even matter about my experience or your own, because Tophiachu has witnessed this with her own eyes in Brother Chu. Brother Chu works at the Jimmy John's, works there for like a little bit. I guess he's just a regular employee. He worked there so long, did such a good job. They're like, hey, let this guy be the manager. That is working your way up to be a manager. What does she think that saying means? It's your mentality that's actually holding you back from ever succeeding. This is just a failure mindset if I've ever seen one. She's seen somebody try to be an adult before, but it doesn't compute in her mind how to actually do it. She's like, no, being an adult means you can do whatever you want, anytime that you want. That's what I do it for. You know, I didn't sit there as a child for all them years, not grow up and do what I need. It's like, well, Tophiachu doesn't have a child, you know, she doesn't have a lot of responsibility, so she could live that way. But because she refuses one simple thing, to work or be a likable personality on TikTok or battle people to earn some more income, just literally sitting around lazing away, that's all she does, instead of just putting some effort in. Because newsflash, Tophiachu, being an adult actually means doing things you don't want to do. When you go to your first job, people learn this so fast. You do what you don't want to do all the time. You wake up and you're like, man, I do not want to go to work today. This is the last thing I want to do. But you know what? You still go because you want to earn money at the end of every 2 weeks. Maybe you get paid weekly, which is amazing. And on payday, everything seems worth it. But then you start the cycle all over again. But there are some things that a job will bring for you. It could bring friendship. It could bring community. You could meet a bunch of new people. In fact, you could even like your job, like what you do, have some pride in it, and want to exceed in it. But because you're scared of something, you choose to duck and dodge responsibility while coming up with the most worthless excuses of all time. If you was to say this to a parent that actually wanted something out of your life, dude, they would kick you out on the streets immediately. Could you imagine talking to your 30-year-old daughter and be like, hey, you really need to get your life together, and they hit you with, well, I have nothing but opportunity. I could take the free transportation, which is absolutely free. The only thing it requires me is to be on time, but I'm not going to do that because I could pass out at any moment. Like, excuse, what excuse is that? Are you serious? You could pass out at any moment. There are people in far worse health than you are, have health conditions, who knows what's wrong with them, but they manage to get up and go to work every day. There's people who walk to work, but you're too good to sit on a bus because there's no air conditioning. You absolutely need that to go into your work. That doesn't make any sense. Most places are air conditioned. If you go to work at like a fast food joint, sometimes they can get a little hot, but regulations say it's gotta be a certain temperature. If you worked in an office somewhere, you would for sure have air conditioning. This isn't mandatory. This is just crazy thoughts and ridiculousness because you don't want to grow up. I mean, it's just simple as that.
I'm not gonna live in a 1-bedroom. I want a 2-bedroom, and that's what I'm gonna get. So don't tell me what I need to get. And no, there is no 1-bedroom for $500. And actually, for a few $100 more, we were paying for a 3-bedroom. So how are you paying $500? We were paying $810 for a 3-bedroom. Before when management took over, they did rent, but we had already been paying that. So that's why our rent didn't get changed, because we were already paying that. So you must be doing something wrong if you're paying $500 for a couple $100 more. We was paying for a 3-bedroom. Work smarter, not harder. My brother was different than me, and I'm going to explain this to you. My brother did not want to work for himself. My brother did not want to run a business. That's why, and when you say, was my brother conforming to the system? In a way, yes. But my brother never wanted to own a business. My brother wanted to be a mechanic. My brother wanted to work his whole life. Every time he would lose a job, he would get another job. My brother loved working a 9-to-5 job. I cannot tell him what to do with his life because I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, you need to stop conform, because his dreams was not running a business. His dream was being a pilot, a captain, and flying for the airlines. If you didn't know, my brother knew everything there was about the airlines, and he even said that he wanted to go through all the process of being a pilot. So the shelter was not a DV shelter, and the reason why my social media was a thing is because that person knew, and they told a worker that I was filming on property or whatever the case may be, which was not the case, and I was leaving property. Even another resident had vouched for me and literally said that she even seen me leave to go live off property. So, for you to lie and say that shelter is a DV shelter, no, it's not. The shelter I stayed at is not a DV shelter. And they say you can choose to be on media or not, which is like TV, the news. Because the news shows up to interview people, because they have media at that shelter, they cannot be a DV shelter because that could put other women in danger. They see a woman in the background and they're fleeing a DV situation, that could be dangerous. People literally called Sonic and told them and complained about me going live there, which is why they told me I couldn't be at Sonic. So let's not go lie about that stuff, because I have way too many issues. Like, I have way too many problems, and I didn't do nothing to nobody. I don't bother nobody in real life. Whatever issues that person had with someone, I don't care. I'm not involved. I was just living my life and having fun and going out. My bad. What? I don't even know what the whole issue was, to be honest. I know what it was. They saw what was going on. There wasn't anything. I think it was because of the way that person was treating me. Maybe they thought, oh, she likes her and not me, and I don't know. This person's got some crazy people after them. I'm like, man, you need to watch out, because, bruh, I don't even be bothering no one. I don't be bothering no one. I do know what the issue was. It's because if they were in love with someone, they liked somebody that I was friends with, and they took it out on me because for some reason they could be the only one. I didn't have a relationship with nobody. The way that person acted towards me is if you got an issue with that, then you got an issue with that too. I don't know. It was just some things that I didn't like. Walked by and laughed because I got yelled at. Or I didn't get yelled at, but I got told about my social media. What's so funny about that? I never did anything to you. I'm not going to get into the whole situation, but I had nothing to do with why that person was mad. I didn't even do anything to you to be that way towards me, besides the fact that I was with somebody as a friend or hanging out with someone that you was in love with, probably infatuated with. That had nothing to do with me, so you're taking it out on me. I don't know what it is about jealous people, but they need to step back. So I'm just minding my own business. One day I get called over. They say something about going live. I said, no, I haven't went live. You can check this. I leave property to go live. Another resident confirmed that I had been going live and leaving property to go live. So she walks by and she's like, ha 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 ha. Just like laughs at me, and I'm like, what's funny? There were some things. So the reason what happened was she told one of the other workers that I was filming and going live and doing things on property. Then she laughs at me. Mind you, this is all for the sake because she was infatuated and in love with someone that I was friends with. Mind you, a lot of crazy people are after this woman. I'm sorry, I'm not putting your business out there. Please don't get mad at me. But it's true.
Doesn't have a house, doesn't have an apartment, is literally eyeing tents as her very next option of where she's going to live. But she's going to sit there and tell chat, like, no, I'm not going to have a 1-bedroom house. I need a 2-bedroom house. You know, I've got to get Mama Chu in there. And what she means is I need a place for myself and Stud Chu so she can move in with me so I can start to try to work these things out. Well, Mama Chu, maybe she can sleep on the floor, if that. I'm not going to get her like a blow-up mattress. I'll put a bunch of pee pads down, you know, maybe she'll find comfort off of that. It's so crazy that she believes she can be picky with her imaginary houses, the things that she hasn't even come close to earning, but she can sit there and say, nope, I'm not going to accept that. Well, why not? Most people in your situation would be like, yes, give me that apartment right now, but not Toph. How do you think you're too good for everything? Like, she's like talking about Brother Chu and his goals, like very reasonable goals. I want to be a mechanic and, you know, maybe eventually I'll be a pilot. Those seem like reasonable expectations to have out of somebody. But then here's Toph, like, you know, I was thinking about telling him to stop conforming to the man, but then I realized if he didn't conform to the man, I wouldn't have a Chu Cruiser or an apartment. So I just kept my mouth shut. It's not conforming to the man, Toph. You're literally more subjected to the government when you're in need like you are. Like, most people don't think about the government. Like, I certainly don't. I like to put myself in a position where I have to focus on them as little as possible. People like you who put yourself in those positions have to rely on the government endlessly. And most people, it's not their fault. Some people are really struggling out there, and that sucks that they have to. But you just don't have to. You're well-bodied. I mean, jokes aside, I mean, you could definitely do labor. Like, you could get up and you could stand around for 8 hours a day. It might suck, And you might hate it, but you could certainly do it. And if you knew you in real life, that's gotta be a very frustrating thing to witness. Like, there's a reason nobody likes you in the shelters that you're in. Like, the person who was walking past you laughing because you was getting told, hey, stop going live in these places. They were probably laughing because they have experienced you going live, you being a hindrance to their own life, and like, thank God someone's finally mentioning this. I can finally start to live in peace. Hopefully she listens. But you can tell Tophiachu doesn't believe she's the problem. When she's telling the story like, hey, it's not a DV shelter, so you guys shouldn't worry. Well, yeah, there's been speculation that it is. But by all accounts, it seems like there's a ton of women in there. I mean, if there's women in there, there's probably children in there. And like, even if there was men in there as well, you shouldn't be going live where people can give away their information, which happened on your live stream. Somebody literally gave their full SSN while you were just sitting there, and you didn't mute, you didn't stop the live and delete it. You just kept going like nothing ever happened.
I don't have another place to go, and I just have to make do with what I got. It was like, hey, TikTok star. When I first got there and she first seen me, she recognized me from TikTok. She's a worker that works there. I was like, then it started to become some slight favoritism. It wasn't like I could get away with doing things, if that made sense. I followed the rules. I didn't try to take advantage or try to do what I wanted because she was giving me favoritism. It wasn't like that. I can't even explain what the type of favoritism I was receiving, but I still had to follow the rules, if that made sense. Then it became a whole thing where she just became jealous. She became jealous, and then she took it out on 37. That's enough to pay the storage. I do not have $250 left. You pocket watching. Where are you gonna pocket watch me? Yes, but I had to pay the storage. It has my brother's stuff in it. And I'm trying to get a place so I can eliminate that storage. Yes, I know it adds up, but I don't got a choice. Right now, I just got to try to keep paying it until I get a place and I don't have to pay it anymore. On my storage, $400 of it, $462 went to storage. I paid, on top of paying $55 for my phone bill, I also did buy a few things here and there on DoorDash. I got my body wash that I needed because I ran out of the body wash. I needed a towel because all my towels were back at the other place and I had to get me some towels, so I didn't have any. How am I supposed to shower without a towel? Well, it's not going to be gone. I don't have between $200 and $300 left. I only have $231 in pocket watching, bitch. I don't have that much left. Stop pocket watching me and watch your own pockets. They empty as f***. You don't even got $200 in your bank account and you worried about mine. You probably got 1 penny in your bank account and you worried about what my pockets got. Worry about your pockets. Don't worry about mine. I'm broke almost completely. It's because I paid bills, you bitch. Why are you sitting here literally complaining and being like you're almost broke again? Because I paid bills. I don't see you broke and paying bills. You can't say you broke from paying bills. You broke from pocket watching people. Your pockets are emptying as we speak. Who said I'm pocket watching famous people? Tell me when a famous person could take a Rolex with them to the grave, considering the fact that a lot of people are talking about the insensitive celebrities that are spending thousands of dollars on shit that they don't really need, expensive cars, expensive houses, and all of that, when there's people struggling to afford to eat, struggling to afford to even have a place to live. Overconsumption.
It's so funny that Tophiachu for days has been complaining about not getting a job, not having enough money for a house, but's gonna sit there and tell people that they're broke. Stop pocket watching her. She's got a solid $200. That's 200 Benjamin Franklins in her possession that you don't have, because obviously you're sitting here talking on her live stream. You know, the same thing you could be doing at work, after work, before work, but she's not going to consider that. You're pocket watching and you're a hater. Maybe don't ask people for a house, Toph, for them not to think about your money. You know, that's normally a good story. If you're asking for money, people are going to speculate what's wrong with you, where is your money at, why can't you earn any, and then they're going to start from there. If they boil it down to like, all right, she's actually in need, really desperate, maybe I can help her out, then they'll give something to you. But no, people boiled it down to you as nope, she's just sympathy baiting, grifting a little bit, still off her brother's name, as tragic and evil as that is. So instead of giving you money, they're going to pocket watch you. But I guess that's enough for me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow all the socials down below, use the new hype feature, and I'll catch you guys next time.